Hello, everyone. Good evening, good afternoon, everybody. How is everyone doing today? Hope you guys are doing well. Hi, Super. Hello. So nice to see you on here. How are you? Hope you're good. Everyone, please hit that like button as you guys come in. I really appreciate it. Thank you so much. First of all, let me just shout out to fair commentary, fair use policy, all that good stuff. I'm not trying to pass off the content as my own. I do usually listen to stuff in fast speed, but maybe for you guys, so you guys can hear it a little bit, I'll put it on 1.45 so it's not too fast. So now let me play it so you guys can hear it.
Anytime you see the entire cast,
Oh, yeah.
we've been there for 4 to 6 hours.
Yes.
So Kimmy is basically relaying what happened because we saw Kimmy basically going in on Nell, right? And so Kimmy is basically trying to give us a little bit of context as to what happened from her perspective. So we're going to get into it. So I'll be playing it. I have to pause it each time and give my commentary for copyright reasons.
4 to 6 hours, the entire cast, easy. And so when you see a 20-minute clip, to be sure that there's things that are missing. And so as you watch and you listen and you say, well, Kimmy popped off for nothing. Did she?
Right.
Well, I'll be one of the people that said, yeah, she did pop off for nothing, right? I'll be one of those people that said it was definitely giving the impression that she was popping off and we didn't know why she was popping off. So I guess now she's trying to clear it up for us because it was definitely very confusing. It wasn't giving the impression that, yeah, it definitely wasn't giving the impression that like she was just, yeah, like she was unbothered and Nell was coming for her. But she's trying to at least give us context as to how she feels. So I guess we'll have to see and we can decide whether we believe her or not.
Right.
Did she?
Well, tell us, because the thing is this, it just does the world up, because the world thinks I'm this magician. Kimmy's right. So the thing is, we film an all-cast event, so it's at least 4 hours. So what's funny is, so Dustin, I'll get the 1 hour version of the episode. So that's off period too. But Kimmy, like, so explain to us, Kimmy, which is why I love having you guys on. What led up to you threatening to push Nell in the pool that you felt wasn't completely?
And that's the thing. It really is a threat, right? And you would listen to the way Kimmy would respond to this, and you realize that, yeah, I'm not quite sure she really sees how serious it is that what it is that she's saying. You can't just threaten to dunk somebody in a pool. That is aggressive language, ma'am.
Sean, go ahead, Dustin.
Dump her in the pool. That's what she was like. It was the dump. I was like, that's key. The dumping is what made it,
So here's the thing. I was extremely frustrated by that point, and it came from frustration. The evening had actually gone fairly well, like for the most part. The games, y'all saw Marceau and Martell, like, fighting for the spoons. No, there was no altercations. So all of that kind of went pretty smooth until I was of the impression that if Tisha and Nell spoke, that they would actually have a better understanding of the situation, because I was.
Okay, so she's trying to let us know from her perspective, it was all seeming like things were good at first. Bajan says Kimmy sounding aggressive and shouting. Yes, that's the thing. Like, even the way she's relaying it, you could tell she's being very spirited about it. And yeah, I don't know. For me, I'm just like, you had so much energy for Nell, and even with her explanation, I didn't really still feel like it was still warranted, but maybe that's just me. Kimmy is actually complaining about her edit. Yes, she is. And complaining right there in front of her boss. Ain't that funny? Complaining right there in front of her boss. But the thing is, I will say she did it in a way that was very, very well done. And I will tell you why I say it's very well done. She literally said, guys, if we're filming for 4 hours, of course they're going to have to edit it. So she basically threw them a bone, right? As opposed to saying, well, they didn't edit it properly, blah, blah, blah. She indirectly was blaming edits, but she knew how to clean it up. And Carlos did not even pick up on it. Carlos was just there laughing. So it's obvious that he did not even pick up on that at all.
actually at the first dinner when Nell said from her mouth anything that had transpired as far as her leaving LA. Mm-hmm. And so when Destiny brought back to us that she said Tisha was lying, I said, and I literally, it took Nell maybe 10 or 15 minutes to even agree to go outside and have the conversation.
Really? Yeah, maybe she don't want to talk. Maybe she's just trying to have a good old time and she knows you guys will be on some BS. Wasn't she right? Like, it's just like, isn't it funny talking about it? She didn't really want to talk. Of course, maybe she didn't really want to talk because she knew every cast event is always an opportunity for some BS to happen. Yeah. So yeah, she gets on my last nerve. I feel you on that one. Super says I can't stand her voice. Yeah, it's almost like she picks different personalities within her voice. I don't know how to explain it. Like 1 minute she's like, oh yeah, and then she takes it up, and so sometimes you don't really know, you don't know how to place her. Bajan says, Kimmy, you forgot some season ago you said you would never be friends with Rasputia thick dog. No, you're thick as thieves. Oh, that is so interesting. You're right. And Bajan is always clocking it. Bajan will clock it. Bajan will remember it. I love that. I love that. But yeah, you are right. She did say that ages ago, that she ain't never going to be friends or be cool with Wanda. And then look at them now. Super said Carlos picked up on it. Did he? I thought like he didn't. I thought, yes, he knew she was a little salty with the editing, but I didn't think that he really was like, you know how sometimes when cast members come on the show and they talk about editing, I noticed that he gets very defensive. With Kimmy, he didn't really get very defensive. And that's why I thought that even though he knows that she was being a bit shady, he didn't take offense to it in the way in which he would always take offense when other people talk about editing. Remember when, who was it that went over there and was talking about editing and Carlos was not having any of it at all? So I feel like some of the people that show up over there on his channel, when they talk about editing a bit more blatantly, he is always very, very obviously against it. And he is clearly not playing with them. So I'm like, yeah, maybe in those situations as well. Bajan says, I would love to send a question to Carlos Queen for when they have the reunion directed at Kimmy about people shouting triggers her. This is, I think you should. I think put it in his comments on Instagram and see if he picks it up, because he may actually pick it up. If you put it in his comments on Instagram, maybe he might, because Carlos is one of us. Carlos be in the YouTube streets, in my opinion, and in the social media streets. So I would say absolutely put it in his comments, and he probably will see it and may decide to ask that as part of the questions.
Really? And I said, I think it's just a misunderstanding. Like, I literally think it's a misunderstanding because you told us this. Like, you told us this. And I think if y'all talk, you'll see she wasn't trying to be malicious. She just regurgitated what you said, like what you said. And she wasn't lying. I mean, y'all.
So when Kimmy kept saying she wasn't like lying, my thing is, she wasn't lying. Okay, but Nell didn't exactly say that she was lying anyway, right? Nell said, yes, I said that. But I just think that I said what I said, really. Like, yeah, don't F with me. That's it. Like, mind your effing business. That is it. So it was almost like, as long as you mind your business, I don't have no issues with you. But I feel like the rest of the girlies just wanted to have an issue. And they were really like hounding it. But the truth is, I would have also been irritated. Like, I already said, mind your effing business, or, keep my name out of your effing mouth or whatever. I said what I said. If you keep my name out of your effing mouth, then we have no beef. But if my name is in your mouth, then we have beef, right? So I don't really think like Nell doxed that or anything. I think she owned that.
Also, she wasn't lying because that's what we were told at the dinner. And so when we went out, it was very low key. It was very low key. And I think the energy immediately changed when Tisha asked Nell, well, why'd you leave LA? Mm-hmm. Even though her tone wasn't elevated at the moment when she said, it's none of your business.
But here's the thing. Why are you asking the lady when she already told you why she left LA? Why are you asking her again? You're the same person that she was asking about your husband, and you said you were basically given like it's none of her business. So of course she does not want to hear anything that you have to say. She doesn't. So it's just like she does not want to hear what you have to say. And I don't blame Nell for that. Because you guys keep whatever it is you don't want to talk about, but you want to talk about every other person's business. So no, I'm allowed to be like, no, I'm going to keep some things for myself since you lot are always keeping some things for yourself. Simple. I think that's why Miss Nell was like, I'm not getting back into it with these people. They don't be telling their business. Why do I have to be telling my business? That's what I think it is. But guys, for those who have just come in, you're welcome. Please hit that like button. We are going through some of what Kimmy had to say about the clips that were not shown of the altercation or verbal altercation between her and Miss Nell. So yeah, please hit that like button as we go through the clips. She's mean, fake, and a pick-me-sha. Abso-freaking-lutely. Now, No Neck knows how Mel felt. Season when Mel left No Neck, wanted acceptance from them. Now they're switching on her. No sympathy here. Bajan, you hit the nail on the head. I was talking about this on Monday, and I said the way they are treating Nell is the way they treated Mel. And it's so sad because Nell was part of the people because she did not ride enough for Mel. She did not ride for Mel. And now she's experiencing what Mel experienced. And it's so sad because, of course, I always feel bad for anybody that is in that kind of situation. But it's like you are now reaping part of what you have sown. You're now seeing what Mel had to deal with, and which is why the millimeters were birthed, because everyone could see what Mel had to deal with, but you lot, right? But you that was meant to be her friend. So yeah, it's sad that she's going through that, but I completely understand you feeling like, yeah, you ain't got no empathy for her because, you know, Nell did what Nell did when Mel was going through her stuff. At this point, Tommy is crying, guys. The moderator is crying because you guys have been so stingy with the likes. So she is saying, we have 20 likes, finally. Let's get to 25 likes. So please hit that like button. Thank you very much. Bajan says, Kimmy lied when Mr. Potato Head got arrested. The lies between both of them. Exactly. And I feel like that's the thing, right? Everyone feels like they're entitled to withhold information. Everyone on the cast. And if you notice, Nell has been one of the more transparent one among all of them. Because Tisha ain't transparent about nothing, especially nothing to do with Marceau, her marriage, nothing like that. She's not really transparent. Kimmy is not transparent about her, Maurice, the marriage, all of that. They're all not being transparent, in my opinion. And so I feel like it's so obvious that they want to do Nell the way they did Mel. And I also noticed that they are making parallels by making it seem like maybe Nell just doesn't like us because of something, you know. And I'm like, nah, she doesn't like you because the way you guys move is crazy. And you guys have done this before and are doing it again. That's just what it is. That's the only reason she doesn't like you. Tyreshan says the Scots need to go. I completely agree. And I think the reason they need to go is because the fact that both of them are on the show, both the ladies and then both the men, it's like with the ladies in particular, it's able to significantly shift the dynamic. And I feel like that's part of why Nell probably feels that she's being ganged up against. Because think about it. If on both ends, yeah, think about it. If on both ends it's like you're getting it from Tisha, then Kimmy is chiming in. It's annoying. It feels like, yes, they're tag teaming you. Whereas if they weren't Scots, only one of them will be dealing. everyone else would be quiet, right? And so I can understand how Nell can feel like you lot are tag teaming me. You guys are jumping in together on the bandwagon to come at me, right? Which is completely unnecessary. So yeah, I definitely get where Nell is coming from. Super says, I don't feel bad for Nell. She doesn't owe them any explanation. That baby is under CPS at the time. Oh, was she? Oh, allegedly. I think it's the baby with Lance. So Lance's latest baby. Oh, allegedly. Okay. Interesting. In that case, I can understand why Nell did not want to talk about it. I can understand why Nell did not want to talk about it. It's like there's no point in talking about it in that case, especially when the others are not transparent. It's like, why do I have to tell all my business when the others can get away with not saying nothing? No, I'm not going to do that. Hey Rock G, happy Thanksgiving. Happy Thanksgiving Eve. Super says they don't want to speak on their business. Absolutely. Completely agree. They don't want to speak on their business. That is the last thing these people want to talk about. And it's just like, yeah, but why are you in other people's business? If you guys don't want to talk about your business, all right, cool. But the fact that you're now in other people's business, knowing fully well you don't want to talk about your business, is what is crazy to me. Absolutely bonkers. Tommy says no neck. Who is babies under CPS? Oh yeah, my understanding is, but Supra will correct me if I'm wrong. My understanding is she's referring to Lance's recent baby. Tarishan says Kimmy forgot she was in a shouting match with Wanda. That's the thing. People be forgetting all these things sometimes, which is why I love the fact that the internet does not forget. The internet will bring out the clips. The clips will resurface from somewhere. It's looking a bit scary because it's like, yo, you can't even say nothing wrong because those clips will be picked up and brought back out. Okay. So yeah. But yeah. I do get about the whole shouting match, to be honest. I feel like, yeah, it's just, I think that whole sob story about not liking when people are shouting or whatever, I think she realized that she overreacted and she knew that the fans will eat her up. And so her trying to clean it up is the way that she's deciding to go about it.
The whole energy on the patio was just different. And it just kind of, it permeated. There was even a moment.
Yeah, but the thing is, it was given that you guys were constantly, trying to ask her questions and get into her business, knowing fully well you guys don't be sharing anything. I would be annoyed too.
When she said Letitia Scott, and she said Letitia Scott, and I think that it was Trisha who said, "Well, why'd you say Letitia Scott? Don't you say that when you're mad?" Lernell, like she said it like that, and she said, "Yes. Why would you say that to me?" So then they almost got into it. And Trisha was like, whoa, like, what is this? And Nell looked at her.
Yeah, because mind your business. Like, everything that she is saying right now is definitely making me even side with Nell the more. That is the funniest thing. Because I'm thinking, if Trish supposedly also got into it with Nell, saying, oh, why are you saying this? That means you're mad. Why say anything? She's already heated. Why must you also interrupt to add your own little 2 cents and then antagonize the lady? It's like some of these people don't realize how they contribute to like the dysfunction. It's like you are definitely contributing to the dysfunction. Nell told Carlos on his live that Lance and the baby were at the house at first and then they went back to at her house at first and then they went back to his house. Yeah, indeed. They need to do a revamp of the whole show, like bring new faces. Yes, I definitely agree. I think that if they do a revamp and bring new people, definitely make sure that you can't bring two people that know each other. Or even if you bring two people that know each other, let them not be family. let it be that they just know of each other, they run around in social circles, as opposed to actually being family members. Because I feel like that sense of loyalty is ruining the show. It really is ruining the show. I think the earlier seasons were more enjoyable because Kimmy was an outlier. She wasn't necessarily tag teaming with Tisha. But I think that once Kimmy and Tisha decided to get into some sort of alliance against Mel, everything just went to S from there. So I feel like moving forward, if you're going to put people that know each other, let it be that they know of each other, they've been around spaces, but not necessarily that they have a sense of loyalty or that title, their family. Because I feel like it just makes it unnecessarily tricky, and we end up in this situation where it's so unevenly balanced. So let me see. Tiresian says, yes, I agree, trying to clean it up. Agreed. Tisha definitely got bolder once Kimmy started supporting her. Completely agree. I agree with everything within me. If I could even escalate the comments and be like, put some claps right next to it, I would. But yeah, I definitely agree with that, because once Tisha realized that Kimmy was riding for her and everything she was saying, she was backing her up, Tisha was constantly piping up towards people. Because now she doesn't have to deal with it alone. She doesn't have to deal with the repercussions by herself. But I think that is so annoying, because it's like now it's always Tisha and Kimmy versus whoever it is, as opposed to like one versus the other. One, right? So yeah, very, very odd. Super says they literally tried to tag team her. Yes, exactly that. They tried to tag team her and it did not work. Nell was like, nah, I am going off the rails before I let y'all tag team me. And the thing about Nell is Nell sees the BS and Nell calls the BS out. Nell is not out here trying to be like politically correct. Nell is calling out the BS. And I think that is why things escalated quite a bit. So, hey guys, I know like a bunch of people have just come in. Thank you so much. Please hit that like button as you guys come in. We're currently talking about some Love and Marriage Huntsville tea, but we do have quite a lot of things to talk about. So make sure you watch until the end and hit that like button again. Once again, thank you so much. Okay. But yeah, I completely agree with you, Super. They were definitely trying to tag team her. That is what they were trying to do. Nell saw it, Nell called it out, and then everyone wanted to act oblivious. Like, no, why are you saying we're tag teaming? No, that's exactly what you guys did. Kimmy forgot she called Mel bougie. The best clap back Mel gave her was when Mel told her, basically, you and Jaylene don't have the same name. Ooh, and that did sweet me. Oh my gosh. But yeah, definitely I think that Kimmy has always been a hater of Mel, in my opinion. I feel like yeah, yeah, it's so sad. And it's funny because a lot of people liked Kimmy from the start, and I really couldn't understand why people liked her to begin with. Like, yes, I liked how she would articulate herself, but I just was not like loving her the way people were loving her. But people were loving her. They used to call her the level-headed one and stuff. And it's so interesting seeing how she moves now and how I guess her true character has come out after all these years. It's like the truth of the matter is you can't pretend forever. You can pretend to be something you are not, but eventually the truth will catch up and the world gonna find out. It's only a matter of time, right? So I'm definitely not surprised that eventually the people found out that like, the people found out that she ain't really about what she says she's about. So yeah, very, very sad, though, I will say that. I can't believe Mel left and they didn't bother to bring in a new couple. Yep, absolutely. But the thing also is like, who are they going to bring in? Right? Who are they going to bring in? I don't think maybe for those of you, I don't know, people, if any of you live in Huntsville, do you know anybody that you think can come in and like, I don't know, step up for Love and Marriage Huntsville? Like, do you think people in Love and Marriage Huntsville actually would love the idea of even being on the show? Because I think sometimes people in this community may not even like the idea of the show. So they don't like the idea of the show, you're probably not going to get a lot of new people trying to join to begin with. Tisha always starts ish and then somebody else takes it up with the person. Yep. It's the same way, like she starts ish and then eventually Wanda comes in and sets things off, you know. Like I think Tisha is probably just one of those people who start things and other people basically gives the baton and everybody else picks it up for her and runs with it. That's the vibe I get. Thick tongue can't get bold with little teeth. Bajan can read, okay? I feel like if they say to me, like, call somebody up over here on the channel that can read somebody real quick, I'll be like, Bajan, pull up. Kimberly is such a big disappointment. Hershey, you did not lie. You did not lie. And it's so sad because I'm like, she didn't start off that way, but it's so obvious that she is definitely getting to that point now. So sad. Trishan said, I just posted 2 videos on my page of Kimmy yelling the loudest she can. Did you? First of all, I didn't even know you have a, do you have a YouTube channel or is it like an Instagram page? If you put the link in the chat, maybe we can, you know, pull up your video and watch it. Don't copyright strike me, by the way. But yeah, like if you put the link in the chat, then maybe we can watch it and yeah, quickly play maybe a little bit of the clip so we don't get in trouble. But yeah, let me know if you want us to do that and just put it in the chat. Tommy says that's literally rage baiting. Yes, absolutely. And I feel like they do that a lot. And I think they know that Nell has a fiery temper. And so when I see the things that they are doing, it's so obvious. It's like back in the day, right? If you guys remember, there was a clip where it was Real Housewives of Atlanta. This was at the time where Portia used to throw hands, right? So she was at a dinner with a bunch of the girls from Real Housewives of Atlanta. Apparently, Phaedra had told the Kenya that Portia was going to anger management and will want to talk to the girlies about it. So the next thing, they're at the table, they're asking about her anger management. Of course, she starts to get irritated, does not want to talk about anger management. Then she picks up her stuff and leaves the dinner or leaves the outing. I don't know if it was a dinner. I think it was just a hangout or whatever. So she leaves, and guess who starts following her? Kenya. And it was like Kenya was following her and still taunting her. And that's the thing, yeah? When people are angry and they get up and leave them alone. If you follow them and they tell you to leave them alone, leave them alone. If you don't do that, then I feel like you are being antagonistic and you are literally asking for it. That's honestly my perspective. Leave them alone. If someone says, leave me alone, leave them alone. If someone says, stop following me, stop following them. Because eventually, if they then push you, you would then be like, oh, you attacked me. But you coming in my personal space, following me after I told you not to follow me, is you attacking me. At least from my perspective. But don't listen to me before you get in trouble by whooping somebody's A because they came in your face. So please don't ever hit first, you know, defend yourself, you know, but don't ever hit first. But still, but I've just always found that weird. Like people, yeah, it's definitely rage baiting. But I think the best thing to always do when people rage bait you is do the opposite. They want a crazy reaction. Just calm yourself down, breathe, count to 10 in your head, deep breaths, and just like do the opposite of what it is they expect. Well, as long as it's legal. Yeah. So Tommy says, let's get the likes to 50, please. We only have 35 likes. Yes, please. Let's get the likes. Oh, she said 40, but yeah, I'm saying 50. Let's get the likes up to 50, yeah. Please and thank you. D. Johnson says, did you all catch that Kimmy was dumped back in her seat by her sister's friends in that yelling scene? No, I did not. I did not get that. I did not get that.
She was like, why you got this energy for me now? And so they almost got into it. Literally. And this is all before stuff started happening. It was just the energy. You know what I'm saying? And so as the conversation progressed, for the most part, I tried not to say anything because my job was to get the two of them to the patio. Mm-hmm. That was my job. I did my job. And I felt like once they sat down and talked, it would work its way through. And it did not. And the two times that I feel like it was demonstrated from your side of the camera, Kimmy popped off for no reason. Both times that Kimmy said,
look at Carlos's face. I demonstrated that Kimmy popped up for no reason. You can tell like he was not feeling that one. Okay.
You said to keep my mother.
Okay, Carlos. Carlos does not seem happy.
Fucking name out your mouth was because she kept saying, I don't have a problem with Letitia Scott.
Yeah, but this is the thing. If I tell someone to keep my name out of their effing mouth, that does not mean I have an issue with you. I have an issue with you constantly talking about me. So if you keep my name out of your effing mouth, there will be no problems. Like, I don't understand. Am I bugging, guys? Please set me straight. Do you guys think that when somebody says, keep my name out of your effing mouth, that there is beef? To me, if someone said, keep my name out of your effing mouth, I'm like, please, I'm not even talking about you. Please. Like, it's not going to be that deep to me because I'm not really out here in the business of talking about or getting people's, you know what I mean? Like, that's the way I would think about it. I don't necessarily think there's beef. You just don't like me talking about your business. So if I don't talk about your business, there is no beef. That is my understanding of stuff. But then again, I'm a very literal person. So if that's what you say, that's what I believe, right? So I don't know if you guys might think I'm wrong on that one, but let me know. Kimmy, your mouth was running nonstop. Yep, it was. And Nell was like, yeah, nah, you're not about to tell me you will be putting me in a pool. Okay. And I love that for Nell.
She kept saying it over and over. And I was like, well, the simple fact that you said, keep my name out your motherfucking mouth would indicate you have a problem. And so I was repeating to her how it was said to us. And those are the two times that my voice raised. You can hear.
So those were the two times when your voice were raised. Yes, one too many times, hon. Your voice did not need to be raised. Okay.
Hear Tisha in the background. Why are you yelling at us? Why are you yelling? You can hear that. Y'all didn't see all the play up to it, but you can hear Tisha saying, well, why you gotta holler at us? Why are you yelling at us? I took note that Nell didn't think she was hollering at that time. Mm-hmm. I changed the question. I changed the question. Okay, say you're not hollering. Am I talking to you like you're talking to me? Like your tone and your disposition? Am I talking to you like you're talking to me? And by then she felt like me and Tisha was ganging up on her. Mm-hmm. And it couldn't have gone.
I honestly think like when someone is having a back and forth with another person, especially if they're going back and forth constantly, right? I definitely think like stay out of it. There's no need for you to jump in. There's no need for you to really like put your little 2 cents in. There's no need for all of that. Stop jumping in. And that's the thing. It's like you jump in fights that has nothing to do with you and then you get popped and then you're upset. Because how is it that this was technically Tisha's beef, but then you ended up having to almost be squaring up with Nell? That could have been completely avoided if she just stayed in her lane and kept her mouth shut. Keep your mouth shut. Let Tisha handle it as a grown woman. There's no need for you to have to be in between Tisha and Nell. Let them go at it as grown people. You know, if Nell had a problem, she has her mouth. She can communicate if she had a problem. If Tisha wasn't settled with what Nell had to say, she could have said that. Let them go back and forth. There's no need for you to be jumping in. And that's the issue. That's the beef that Nell has with you. in my opinion, because I'm not Nell, but that's what I think her beef is.
On left faster. It couldn't have gone left faster.
Why do you think she don't like y'all?
You so tough.
Why do you think she don't like y'all? What you think it is?
I don't know, but Dustin, I've never done anything to this lady. Like, even on show, off show, I don't talk about her business. Y'all ain't got nothing on me telling her stuff that's in the streets. I've never called her out. She came at me in St. Thomas. I didn't come to her. She came to me. I have no idea. Like, when I say no idea, her and T go back.
Yeah. Absolutely. Badger says, even talking to Carlos White, all the demonstration with the hands, you don't like shouting and you're doing an awful lot of shouting. Yes, that's what I mean. Like, she says, yes, fine, okay, she's not like screaming at the top of her lungs or whatever, but she's been very expressive. And I think that's the thing, right? Sometimes when you're being expressive, it comes across as, yeah, like yelling, when you may not even be yelling. It's just like, I'm just talking, like I'm just passionate about this subject, so it sounds like I'm yelling. And I think that that's what was happening between her and Nell. But she raised her voice and Nell raised her voice. The difference is Nell's voice is louder, in my opinion. But even on this thing, like you said, she's doing a lot with the hand gestures. I speak with my hands every now and then too, so I understand that. But like, it's like even the way she's saying what she's saying, the projection is definitely giving a lot of energy, to be honest. So that is it. That is all. Let me know what you guys think. Don't forget to like, share, hit that subscribe button, and tap that bell button right next to it so you know every single time that I post. And I'll see you guys in the chat. Let me know what you think. Bye.